Shotgun with Charlie.
Riding shotgun refers to the practice of sitting next to the driver in a moving vehicle. The term riding shotgun came around after the time of the stagecoach, when somebody used to sit next to the driver holding a shotgun, in case they ran into bandits. My name is Charlie Cook, and I drive a lot. I like to talk to people while I'm driving, so I interview people in my car while I'm driving. Welcome to Riding Shotgun with Charlie.
Hello.
Hey, Mike, it is Charlie. What is happening?
Shotgun with Charlie. How are you, man? I'm just on a conference call with Britt. I'm glad you chimed in.
Oh, I'm glad to catch you guys. You know, I'm doing some new articles for Armed Lifestyle magazine, and I wanted to catch up with you guys because our new issue is going to focus on training, and I thought there's nobody better to talk to than the guys at Next Level Training.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, no, I'd love to tee off on that subject. That's, we can take that a lot of wonderful directions. So, yeah, open a trail. Let's hit it.
Yeah, so training, the last time we got together, I think the stick was a new product for you guys, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the stick takes our SIRT training pistol, and the SIRT, if someone doesn't know what that is, a shot indicating resetting trigger, SIRT, and it's an inert device, comes in various platforms, and it's there for high volume self-diagnostic training. You know, draw, shoot, do some point shooting, single hand shooting, trigger control drills, single hand, compromised shooting positions, hit some reloads, you know, just training, right? Everything that's short of recoil management reserved for the range. So why not take that platform, all right, the pistol, in the our 110 platforms having functional features of the Glocks, and plug it into a chassis to make a stick. SIRT Tactical Integrated Carrier. Of course, we've got to put T for tactical in there, right? I guess for marketing, but
right.
It could be SIRT Training Integrated Carrier, I guess. But and it basically has the functional features of an AR-15, and it really just works well to get rifle training. I mean, and it's all inert. It's not like you're leaving your rifle around. We went away from that direction for a number of reasons.
Very cool. I've been I have a SIRT pistol, and I've been carrying it around my house, and I know that when I pull it out, I don't have a live gun on me, and I can pull it out and aim at the light switches and the door handles and things across the room and stuff. And I think it's a really, really handy tool to have when you're stuck inside the house for the day and you're not going anywhere, and you want to have your gun on you and practice drawing and sight alignment and target acquisition and everything. I think it's really awesome.
Well, you hit it right there, and what you're doing, and I don't know if you realize this or not, but you're effectively doing what's called distributed learning and uncalibrated training, Charlie. Meaning, if you've ever gotten a critical incident, okay, you have to draw your gun and use it, all right? Are you warmed up when that happens? Like, have you just taken 10 shots and done all this and got your draw stroke down and a few, magazines in? You're not, right?
No, not at all.
You're unwarmed up, or Britt and I like to refer to as uncalibrated. And when you are training uncalibrated, you get a sense of where you are at in that uncalibrated state. So let's say it's 2 hours go by and you just get up, stretch your legs, do this or that. You have your SIRT pistol, you have a good training area and such, and a good backdrop out of an abundance of caution, right? Just in case, something catastrophically failed in your safety protocol, right? So, and you rip off a shot as fast as you can. You clear your garment, establish grip, get support hand on, extend, prep, boom, break a shot fearlessly, maybe pushing your envelope on your index shooting, your point shooting. Maybe you were good at 6 yards, but you tried at 8 yards, uncalibrated, right? And you diagnose, like, where'd the laser hit? Did a laser dot or did it move? There's some basics from that we can talk about more in the diagnostic, but point is, you just got a very valuable rep inside of like 5 seconds, and it's probably why you were walking to the bathroom, so it's not even 5 seconds because you're co-processing with that action.
Right. Yeah.
The next step to that too, Charlie, that we've been having some deep conversations with lately from the uncalibrated has become environmental training. And the reality is we get so used to training on a range. And the reality is there's so many range rules that apply that never apply in a real critical incident. And so this environmental training is the new things we've been having some pretty deep conversations about how in an environment where you actually will go to guns, let's say, how do we use that environment and train now with a certain environments? Because you can't train live fire in those environments for obvious reasons.
Yeah, absolutely. It's such an incredible tool that you guys have made.
Yeah, it's very simple. I mean, it's funny. Everyone, not everyone, but a lot of people, I guess it's a human tendency to always take next steps in technology, right? And, like, oh, we got to have like this or that. And there's some good technologies out there. Like we integrate with some technologies that capture the shot and what have you, like LASR and, different entities like that. But, and it's good. They all add a value, but we can't overlook simplicity, like just low barrier to entry training. I mean, people are hard on themselves. They're not disciplined or this and that, but the reality is people are busy. We have multiple priorities, and if we can take care of that, we can take advantage of that white space during the day in our calendar and just make it more of a habit than, and almost more fun. I don't want to sound too flaky on that, but the reality is, and that training is just inherently enjoyable. The probability of it, making a lifestyle and reoccurring and in a Kaizen-like way, just building your skill sets over weeks, months, and years is higher, and it just happens naturally. It's very much in the woo way without effort. So, anyways, that's kind of we can obviously talk about some of the mechanics of training, some specifics, but just if we don't get past the psychological part, of making it sustainable, because a lot of training regimens, no matter what it is, like some kind of workout regimen or something, they're not sustainable. Like a lot of it's just a little bit BS, right? So it's important to start psychological motivation very early on in the onset.
Yeah, that is a really good point. I think it's important for people that want to live the ARM lifestyle, have stuff like this, have training tools like this, have practice tools like this, where they don't have to go to the range. They can do it in a couple minutes. I used to when my kids were super young, and it would they wanted to put their shoes on and tie them by themselves. That would still take 7 or 8 minutes. So you'd say, you'd tell the kids to go get ready, and then you've got a few minutes where you could do something, but you can't really get into something, So having something like this, and like you said, practicing in the white spaces, that's a really good analogy.
Yeah, no, I mean, totally. And I guess, you just reminded me of something too. It's people have got to kind of realize how not good they are, or another way of putting that in the positive is how much room they have above them to grow and get better. Like there's a principle. This is a YouTube video. Let me look at my downloads real quick here. It's basically why smart people think they're dumb and vice versa.
Why stupid people think they're smart?
Yeah, no, the Dunning-Kruger effect. That's it. I'm just looking at a YouTube video from Mark Manson, the Dunning-Kruger effect. Well, it kind of falls along that grid of, like, you don't know what you don't know initially, right? Like there's knowledge and skills and stuff. So if you don't have any awareness of what you don't know, and you don't even know, like I've talked to someone who, he went through an academy and, in a certain discipline, and he kind of thought that was the whole gamut of things. But I mean, good grief. I mean, you talk about, single hand, strong hand shooting and sport hand shooting and knowing your boundaries for index shooting, like how far can I point shoot, index shoot, point shoot, kinesthetic point of aim.
Yeah.
How really good is my trigger control? How good is my trigger control under rapid shots? Like how much is that really moving? And I'll talk about dots, not dashes later. So there's just an array of skills. And I don't mean to scare any users like I think they're incompetent to conceal carry. I think, they can definitely conceal carry, but if you expand your just a little bit of stimulus and questions, and I guess a good guideline is like, hey, look around your environment. Kind of like Britt said, look at your environment, look at your vehicle, look at your garage, and think, if something really weird happened, I want to use this garage as cover. how would I shoot around it? Would I shoot around it? Would I go supine prone? And if I did that, can I get down? If I get down there, can I draw? And literally someone can go out in their garage right now because it's, probably enclosed and good training area, right, for that kind of training. And you try to just do it and find the deficiencies, right? And see, you see what I'm saying? So
yeah,
it's you can be your own teacher. And obviously, you're not really your own teacher. You're kind of going from to know what you don't know a little bit more, and then you explore. Right, you get some instruction, or you search good old YouTube videos, and you go up the learning curve. Hopefully, focusing primarily on the fundamentals versus the cool stuff. But I think that's a good that's a good methodology for people to go by.
Yeah, definitely. The the things that people don't know. One of the things that I've wanted to try to do this year is I did it a couple years ago. I saw somebody, some online person that talked about how much training they got as a student, and he said his goal was to do 100 hours a year. And I was like, man, 100 hours seems like a lot. But in 2021, I think I actually did that. And I took a 40-hour Mag 40 class, and then I did the Faster Saves Lives class, and I did a couple classes up at the SIG Academy in New Hampshire. And then I looked at 2022, and I'm like, it wasn't the same, but I probably got close to 100 hours. And I'm kind of, writing up my goals for 2023, and I'm hoping for the same sort of thing, is to get a number of hours in and spread it across, concealed carry stuff and some rifle and some shotgun shooting, as well as doing some first aid kit. And yeah, and really expanding my education so that I perpetually am a student and I keep learning more, because I do, as somebody who sees a lot of students, people will take their course that they need in order to get their license to carry, and then they'll think that they're all set. They'll think they have everything they need. And I've looked at a number of people, and I'm like, okay, so this is just step number one. This is what you need to do to get your license. If you're going to carry, you need to think about what you want to carry. You're going to think about how you want to carry. You need to think about beforehand what you're willing to pull your firearm out and shoot someone for, and what you're not willing to shoot someone for. And there's a lot more to than just, well, I'm going to own a gun and I'm pissed off at somebody, so I'm going to pull my gun and shoot them. You're like, yeah, no, that's not what they're for.
Right. No, I mean, the decision making is a whole nother factor on that, right? And then integrating the decision making with your skills, and ultimately the skills should just literally become second nature, like as you mentioned, tying your shoes, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, making two things and around the tree and through the hole and all that just it's driven into your subconscious competence, right? Yeah. And you've chunked it, and the better you are in your mechanics, the better you are, the more capability you have in your decision making, because you've chunked all the, like, clearing the garment, establishing initial grip, withdrawing out, finger off trigger, support hand engage, present, chest squeeze, C-clamp grip, prep a little prior to that, right? I mean, that's already chunked. It's not a whole sentence like I just described. It's one neurological.
It's one fluid motion.
Set, Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of that crossover. But another point I think you just made there is just, let me ask you this, Charlie. How many people, if you teach a concealed carry class, this is an organic question, what percentage rather go on to maybe take another class and continue their journey in the knowledge game? What percentage do you find?
I hate saying this. I don't think it's very many. The class that I teach the most is the NRA's Home Firearm Safety, and I tell people, I say, look, it's rifles, shotguns, and handguns. Oh my! It's how to be safe with a gun. It's loading and unloading, and it's the laws pertaining to my home state about how to get a license and what you can have and can't have, and where you can carry and where you can't, and all that kind of stuff. And then I always tell people, I say, listen, here's what I want you to do. After you've taken this class, and you're going to go apply for your license, it's probably going to be an easy 2 months, and that's on the conservative side. But it's going to be a couple months until you get your license, and after you get your license, you can go to the store and you can buy a gun and you can buy ammo. Until then, you should do some research on different types of guns. You can't fondle the hardware at a gun store until you get your license to carry. But after you make a purchase, call me back up and let's learn how to use your gun so you're comfortable with it and you know how to load it and you know how to rack the slide and you know where all these things are. And there is such a small number of people that call me back and want to do a follow-up lesson where we do some live firing.
No, I hear you. That's common. It seems about 20%, and it depends on your marketing a little bit, and some of that too. A little email campaign that shot and touch them, can might change that number a little bit, right? Just to get on their consciousness and awareness. But yeah, no, I hear you on that. Yeah, and I get it. I mean, some people just aren't into it.
Oh,
I mean, it just doesn't turn their crank, And I think it helps when we go from fear-based marketing, like if you don't do this, you're going to get killed, and this and that, to more, like the opposite of fear, like there's more, more of a passion to it. Like, oh, this is just cool. Like almost learning for the sake of learning, as an end in itself.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just fun to like ring the steel, and be able to do it consistently and be able to do it faster and be able to do it from a compromised shooting position,
Yeah.
So, yeah, people kind of get turned on. That's one thing about our cert pistol we find. Like we're in a large, I don't know if I can name drop this or not, but a very large federal, law enforcement agency, and actually more the defensive tactic arena, the physical training unit, which is more the DT stuff, the defensive tactic, open hand. Mm-hmm. But they use firearms in there, or a cert pistol, about 700 of them. And one of the main instructors, he's a PhD in something, I think it's physiology or something, but his comment was, it was interesting, like during breaks and stuff, people continue to use the cert drills, like say against the wall or what have you,
Yeah.
That's a big deal. Like, and it got tying this back to tying a few things here, the mechanics and the motivation and what have you. But, his comment was, and I really took it to heart, was like, yeah, you got to really bottle that up and sell it or market it or get it out there, because when students like that have natural motivation, right, at the academy, and they're continuing to the drill, right? Just because it's kind of addicting, like you run to position and shoot like you said, it can literally be like a run to a lateral position and 10 yards away and try to hit a light switch, as quick as you can.
Mm-hmm.
And you may be amazed, like, oh, shoot, I'm trying again. Like, then you hit it, that's good. It's kind of like a best analogous to shooting basketball, right? Like, you try a three, but, once you get it where you're on fire, it's kind of hard just to stop the practice right there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's like, and it's something ephemeral of the nature, that the laser is there and it's gone. It's not like a bullet hole and it's a shame. You can push yourself a little bit and expand it, so those are just concepts that we just gotta bring into the picture of training to make it sustainable, make sure there's growth, make sure there's feedback, so mechanics are continuously getting improved. That's very important. And keep people on the cycle of making it a lifestyle and habit.
Yeah, you guys have some videos on the website too to help new cert owners out, right?
Yeah, we have a ton, like on nextleveltraining.com. I mean, you can poke around there and index, and it dives deep into some like trigger control isolation drills and such. I think we still have our grip course up, so I got to check, make sure. We just did some website revamps, but yeah, just going. I mean, if anyone wants to start out there, I would start just on grip establishment, grip. Mm-hmm. I think that's probably the core fundamental amongst everything, with an objective-based approach of being able to basically just point shoot. Wherever you look at, your grip establishment will bring the muzzle right in alignment with where you're looking. And secondly, recoil management, to bring the muzzle down to a consistent location without letting flinch or any inclination or proclivity or any avenue for flinch to work its way into the equation, just because you're so pre-engaged on the gun. But I don't want to kill it on detail right now, but starting with grip and grip establishment is really, really the best. And I think it's glossed over too often. I think a lot of instructors should study that a little bit more, and also the different physiology of hands, and use an objective-based approach versus just do it like, hold it exactly like this, Right. The objectives, of course, being the two I stated, that, hey, look, whatever you do that consistently, unwarmed up, put your first shot where you're looking, and also returns the muzzle down after each shot and shot next. That's, we'll call that a good grip. So,
right. It's, you talk about, what did you guys call it? uncalibrated training. I mean, thinking about that, it really reminds me of that incident from a few months ago in Indiana, where the guy had 8 out of 10 shots on his bad guy at 40 yards. And before that, people always joked about and said, "Okay, we're doing the Jack Wilson drill. You know, we're shooting we're getting off 4 shots in 6 seconds at a target." Whatever it was that Jack Wilson did at the church in Texas, and then a new real incident comes along and say, all right, well, listen, 40 yards, 8 out of 10, 80%, you go. Like you said, uncalibrated, no warming up, no practicing, no, shaking your head, cracking your neck kind of stuff. Just pull the gun out and start shooting.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, people, and Britt, what is our base target? We have an 8-inch plate when we train, once a week doing live fire, the mornings there, and we'll go back 40, 50. I don't know. How far have we gone back, Britt?
40, 50 yards. We've gone further than that. I mean, there's been some fun times, single-handed at 70, 80 yards. But for the most part, the uncalibrated training at a good solid 50 yards on an 8-inch plate, is as long as the ammo holds up. That's always the other question. But, yes. Yep, totally. And that can be uncalibrated at the end of a workout, but yeah, I mean, and that gets to a good point. When people do go live fire, like let's say they've been CERT training and they've got all their drills in, they've got good grip establishment, I think our website, nextleveltraining.com/grip, should be the course. I better check that after this. It's funny though. It's funny you say that because this whole conversation wraps around. Michael and I are more sports guys from our backgrounds and our livelihoods. But in sports, there's a saying that says, people that are good train till they get it right, and people that are great train till they can't get it wrong. And I think that really ties into this. You really have to get to that point to where it's so ingrained and it's so natural that you almost can't get it wrong, because in that scenario where you actually have to go to guns or you have to draw to defend yourself, you're going to go to your lowest common denominator. You are going to be at your worst in the majority of the situation. You are not going to be John Wick. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, totally.
We've got to train.
There was
make your worst pretty damn good. I think Britt's saying there. Potentially you may be your best, but I mean, if you can't get it wrong, and think of the substantive confidence that comes with that too. To know, just to know your pistol can be out in this amount of time, it just helps your decision-making immensely. Not that you're going to put yourself in peril, but sometimes not to just be cavalier, but just to have that as a somewhat of a known, that it just, we done one. Well, I did one interaction a long time ago with a certain group, and that, the main point of the pistol craft was to bring the confidence about. So any verbals that occur are done with delivery with confidence, because it's especially because basically, not to get too overboard here, but it's the mentality of, look, I can kill everyone in this room, I'm fine, but I'm just going to talk my way out of this or talk my way through this.
Right.
Obviously more of an UC environment, but yeah, so it all kind of, but it just comes to this training and mechanics.
Yeah.
We're all kind of, the road just comes back to that. So.
It does. Kind of moving on to some other stuff before we start to wrap things up. You guys have started something new, aside from Next Level Training and the CERT and the stick pistols. Refined Savages. Tell us what that is and what you guys have for that.
Go for it, Britt. You can. I've been gabbing away here. This is.
Basically, Charlie, what we wanted to do is we had some things that we wanted personally, and some ideas that we had. And so we wanted to bring this out to obviously to everyone else in the world, but we wanted it for ourselves. We look at it as kind of our skunk works in a sense, but we did not want to conflict or contradict the training arena with the live fire arena. So we started a new company because all of our live fire type equipment will be in Refined Savages. And so the two first primary products that we came out with, one of them is called the G-Spot Fire Starter Kit. And what the G-Spot is as everyone knows, it's the Glock spot in the back of the grip. And we figured that's dead empty space, so why not use that with something? So we created a really cool fire starter kit that locks into the dead spot in the back of a Glock. And so whenever you have your live fire tool with you, you also have a fire starter kit. Inside the fire starter kit, there's a ferro rod, there's a nice little blade, there's also a striker, along with 2 little packets that have petroleum jelly, along with 2 compressed cotton that are used to catch the flame, obviously, that then when you combine that with the petroleum jelly, works fabulously to start fires. And so we figure you're going to get 2 to 4 fires out of that with those petroleum jelly kits and that cotton, and then you can reload the petroleum jelly and cotton. And we're super excited about that one. It's one we've always wanted. The other product that we came out with is called the Torch. And what the Torch is we've gone a long time trying to figure out a way to connect a light to a pistol that will not force you to switch holsters, which we always know is a major problem. Every time I get a new light, I've got to get a new holster, because obviously the holster that I currently use doesn't match up with either the light or the non-light that I've been carrying. The other issue we've always had a problem with is the fact that every weapons mounted light forces you to point your firearm at anything that you want to illuminate, which is a major problem. And, it goes back to the NRA, it goes back to, like you were just talking about, basic firearms. We've been taught our whole life back to hunting course, don't search with your scope, search with your binoculars, right? That's what we've always been taught. But all of a sudden you go weapons mounted light, and now we're searching with our muzzle again? That doesn't work. Right. So the Torch is a really cool base plate attachment that goes on, and currently it's just for the Glock magazines, but it attaches to the base plate. Now you are no longer forced to change a holster, because it will just holster just like every other Glock would, because of course we're not affecting the rail at all. But the angle of the light is one that when you zero the light on a wall, your pistol naturally comes to a high ready position. So the barrel is orientated more towards the ceiling. So as we're searching, we're now searching more with, if you can envision this, your magazine than you are your barrel. And what we find is that this puts you in a scenario where you're no longer pointing your gun at stuff you're not willing to destroy. Because as Michael will say, 99% of things that we illuminate are not things that we want to destroy. Sure. So as you do this, you'll find that you're at a high ready, but when you present the gun out, now that illumination still carries up at the proper angle so that you're able to see your sights and still see your target. And Michael, you can add a ton to that, but that's the brief of it. We're super excited about it.
That is a very, I think it's a really outside the box kind of thinking.
We're excited. We are super excited.
It's going to get pushed back. You're going to do a few people like, why would you put a mag-based light? It's stupid, this and that. And I get it. People talk about this, just because, and I guess when you say out of the box, it's not like we just do it like straight away. It's like, that new video, Charlie, it's like F around and find out. It's kind of trending right now. Yeah. Have you seen that? Like F around and find out.
With the guy with the chart.
Yeah, it's comical and it's kind of philosophical. It's funny, it just clicks, right? But that's such a powerful message, and as it's humorously put there. But like we're effing around, we're messing around, like let's try put on the light, put on the lower grip or do this and that. And that's stupid, it's gonna fall off, it's bulky. Then you continue to mess around where it's like, oh my God, this really works. We make prototypes, and mind you, this is expensive stuff, right? Like we're spending huge amounts of money and engineering time and for external engineering, everything. And so it doesn't make sense just to keep it to ourselves. Like, look, I like this. Like, we've got to, because then, mass producing, it's another thing, right? That's a whole nother level of the design and the molding and everything. But I mean, then you find out stupid stuff too. It's like, okay, so the magazine sits a little bit more because it has a light on it. But you know what? When we round it, we're playing with it, it's like, look, this doesn't print. It's like if you're carrying an appendix, because it's rounded, it's like the opposite of a stealth bomber. Yeah. And, you could test with different garments and thickness of garments, like T-shirts, tighter, looser, and all this. And it's like, wow, it's longer, but it literally increases concealability. which is huge. That's why I carry it in the pistol. And as a secondary magazine, 2 lights. Yellow lights on my pocket, and it sits proud, and you can't even tell it's a magazine. It looks like a light. Britt only carries it in his pocket. So we're divergent there in preferred methods of use.
Right.
Well, and I love it, Charlie, because I always carry a spare mag in my pocket. Always. I always have, and I always will. But the cool piece is, now my spare magazine is also a flashlight. And if you can envision an old school tunnel rat style flashlight that the little character in G.I. Joe used to always have, that's always my envision of it. But the tunnel rat flashlight that we had back in the day is exactly what it is. You pull it out the pocket. And the cool thing is, you're holding it by the magazine, so it does not look like you're carrying a mag in your hand. You have a flashlight in your hand.
Right.
And it makes more people conducive to carry. Like, look, I got, a 2-for-1 on there,
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't carry an extra magazine. Sometimes I haven't in the past, too, right? Depending on garment. But,
it's a magazine, but wait, it's more. There's more. It's a flashlight.
Yes.
That is such a great idea, particularly for for carrying in your pocket and having a spare magazine, to have it there. Because how many times do you need a flashlight? Oh my goodness! And now you don't have to carry a flashlight in your pocket. You'll just have one on your spare mag.
Well, and some purists may say, like, well, you should only use it for tactical situations, this and that. But, the reality is what's really cool, I don't know if you want to say this, Britt, but I have a good hour of life on the battery, and it's like a CR2 battery that's under there. But it doesn't just go dead. Then you have another 30 minutes of, like, a reduced lumen mode, essentially. And that's your indicator to, hey, you better change your battery, buddy. But it still works. You're not going to have a catastrophic failure out and about. And that's kind of a big design feature that kind of got worked into the final product.
That's a great idea too, because how many times you're using something, and then the batteries die, and you had nothing. Like you didn't know it was coming.
Yeah, no, it's kind of it's like a drop, and then it stays and it holds for a good chunk of time, giving you plenty of time to be reasonably functional, but not optimal, and also an indicator just to change the battery, which is a little bit of a pain in the neck. That's one of the things of the designs I wish was a little easier. You got to take 2 screws out, change the battery. It's not super, but but it's 3 minutes. It's not a big deal. But
right. That's really cool. Well, listen, I think we need to wrap things up here. Where can everybody find all of the next level training and the refined savages?
Yeah, go to nextleveltraining.com. Or I think we have a linking URL, certpistol.com. And boy, we should probably give you a code on here, like if people want to found through this video to get a 10% off.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Yeah, and then refinedsavages.com, refinedsavages.com, that's plural. You can look at the products on there for the torch and the G-spot, the G-spot, fire starter kit, obviously a little humor there. But yeah, no, what do you want the code to be, Charlie?
Oh my gosh. They can't be too big, right? Let's do this. Since this is
unique, and I don't know, I'd have to search it, but let's give a shot here.
You know what? We'll put this up in the article, but we'll put it in the article. And we'll put it in the description on the YouTube link. But we'll come up with something. I don't know if we could just make it ALM for Armed Lifestyle Magazine.
That'll probably work. Yeah.
All right.
But I'm just taking notes right here on my phone. 10%. Yeah. So that gives a 10% discount. Makes it a little bit easier there.
That's a great incentive. Come on, everyone! For the tactically frugal folks, it is nice to have nice to get a discount on things.
Oh yeah, no,
for both the next level training and the refined savages. So that's
I'll put it on both sites in WooCommerce. Yeah, we'll make a coupon. Yeah, sure.
You guys are awesome. You guys are awesome. I appreciate that. Thank you.
You bet.
All right. Well, listen. We'll have everyone check everything out there, and I thank you guys for your time. And I'm probably going to see you guys in a couple weeks in SHOT, and we look forward to catching up with you guys again. Thank you very much, guys.
Thanks, Charlie. Week after next, buddy. It's coming quick.
Oh my gosh! All right, guys. Thank you very much. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Charlie. Cheers, mate.